Hello good people, I'm going to spend a bit more time talking about factorization. To that end, I'm going to use these two rectangles. How could I express the total area of this yellow rectangle, or more precisely of these two yellow rectangles? Well, the smaller one is 3 wide and a long, so I could say 3 multiplied by a, which is 3a. Plus the longer one, which is also 3 wide and b long, which is 3b. Now, these are two unlike terms, so I cannot add them. However, I can factorize. In other words, I'm looking for things that these two terms have in common. And by inspection alone, I can see that it is the 3. So both of these terms are divisible by 3. I'm going to take the 3 outside of the bracket, and then inside the bracket I will have what is left over. A, because 3 multiplied by a will get me to 3a, and then plus b, because 3 multiplied by plus b will get me to 3b. How does it work for the green rectangles here on the right? Well, again, I'm going to express the two areas separately. So the smaller rectangle is 4 multiplied by c, or 4c, and the bigger rectangle is 6 multiplied by c, or 6c. Now in this case, yes, I do have like terms, and I could simply add them to give me 10c. But I can also factorize. What are the common terms for these two terms? Well, both of them contain the c. So I could take c outside of the bracket, and then inside the bracket I would have 4 plus 6. However, I could take this a little bit further. What are the common factors for 4 and 6? Well, both 4 and 6 are divisible by 2. So I could take that outside of the bracket as well, which means I will have 2c, and then inside the bracket 2 plus 3. And I can check if it all works out. 2c multiplied by 2 will get me back to 4c. 2c multiplied by positive 3 will get me back to positive 6c. In short, factorization means looking for common factors among the terms that we are using. With that in mind, have a go at these problems. So, 15a, 10b, and 25c. What is the common factor here? Well, it's definitely not the letters, because they're all different, which means I'm looking for a common factor for numbers 15, 10, and 25. If you are very familiar with your multiplication table, you will recognize that all these numbers are divisible by 5. So that is the common factor that I can take outside of the bracket. What will I have inside the bracket? Well, in order to get to 15a, I need to multiply 5 by 3a. In order to get to positive 10b, I need to multiply 5 by 2b. And in order to get to 25c, I need to multiply the 5 by positive 5c. What about the next example? Yes, these are all like terms, so the simplest thing would be to group them. But let's not do that this time. The common factor for all of these terms is d. So I can take that outside of the bracket, and then inside the bracket I will have 2 plus 3 minus 7. What about the last example? So the common term for all of these e terms is, well, letter e. I can take that outside of the bracket, and then inside the bracket I will have 8 minus 2 minus 4. But I can take this a little bit further. 8, 2, and 4 are all divisible by 2. So I could say that I have 2e outside of the bracket, and then I'm going to multiply that by 4, and then I'm going to multiply it by negative 1, and then I'm going to multiply it by negative 2. And I can check. 2e multiplied by 4 will get me 8e. 2e multiplied by negative 1 will give me negative 2e. 2e multiplied by negative 2 will give me negative 4e. So it all works out. When it comes to factorization, you are looking or a common factor for all of the terms involved. That is all for now, and I will see you on the flip side.